Hello, everyone, and anyone that may be tuning in and watching today. I just finished up a sculpture yesterday, and then I primed it last night and a little extra this morning. And I thought I'd do a little impromptu stream while I did this. It's going out to YouTube. It's going out to BackerKit, I believe. Let me see. BackerKit may not be going live for some reason. Let me double check that real quick and make sure that that is happening. Oh, it is. I'm going to have to mute. Yeah, that's muted there. And it's also going to Facebook. And so I'm doing this as to stream just as part of the actual campaign. Thank you, Russ. Thanks for joining in on the Facebook side. This is a weird alien plant hybrid. There's the face hole here. One of the little pieces kind of started to break off, I guess, while it was curing last night, and it completely stuck there. And then it's got these big carnivorous chompers at the top as well. So this was kind of like a little carnivorous plant that was then scientifically altered with human DNA to turn into a hybrid. If anybody has any questions along the way, feel free to post them out in the either in YouTube or BackerKit or Facebook, and I'll try and chat and just keep along. I'm just going to paint and see where it takes me, and I'm going to try not to mess up my desk too much. I'm going to start out with some dungeon slime. This is some bones paint, miniature paint. Some of the, whoops, this is where the camera is. This one's been in my collection for a while. As you can tell, it's got faded print on it, probably from my fingers wearing away the ink on the label. And I guess I should probably also pop out the old paint from this silicone tray. I love the silicone trays because you can just super easy pop them out. Okay, except my trash can's over here. There we go. All right. Pour a little of this dungeon slime in here. And I'm not the best painter, and I never claim to be. I like it to be a little messy. I like it to feel like there's painterly marks on it. But I also like to allow the details of the sculpt to come through as well. So I'm just going to start gently slapping on some of this dungeon slime. I did shake that up quite a bit before we got on camera. And I'll probably do that again with all the other paint colors just to make sure that they are thoroughly mixed, because some of these have been sitting there for quite some time. And now this particular critter isn't currently planned to be in the No Safe Haven Vast Grimm Horde project that's on BackerKit. But, if we get enough backers, it could always get worked into one of the stretch goals, perhaps. Really, this is one of the creatures that's going to be statted and put into my current monthly Patreon release. But a lot of that stuff ends up getting into my printed works as well, with alterations and modifications and editing by Walt and things like that. So I'm just going to keep slapping some green down. It's going to take a little while because I'll be laying the color down, then it's going to need some additional hits. And my apologies for the wobbliness of that camera. The additional camera is hooked up to my desk, so the movements that I put on the desk jostle it, and it's not the steadiest of arms on that camera anyway. And I'm just going to keep doing some of those. We'll bring that in a little bit, kind of show you there's some different textures in here that'll come out when we start adding those colors in, but those are definitely not going to be the green side of things. So I'm just going to work my way up, gently adding some color to this. Try and channel some Bob Ross. And it's okay if there's little splatters and things like that there, especially while I'm still moving my brush around while things are wet. And we'll probably come in with multiple coats on this because, this green isn't laying down super thick. And I'm going to want to put some tones in and stuff like that as well. But I really liked how weird this sculpture ended up turning out. It was textures, all the weird vegetation side of things. And I don't know if I'm going to turn this into some sort of alien species that you can play, or if it's going to just be like monster statted or what. If you have any suggestions or requests for it, feel free to drop them in the comments. Or if you're watching this after the fact, jump into the Discord and share them there. You can add another little hit. So while it's still wet, by adding additional color, a lot of times that will just kind of push the paint around a little bit. So I kind of need that to dry up a bit. But this paint dries so fast, by the time we work our way around, it'll probably be ready for that second round already. Just going to keep going around here, trying not to get too much into the cracks and crevices that I sculpted into it. Just going to keep going. I don't mind if I get some on what are eventually going to turn into the eyes of this thing, because I'm going to paint over top of that anyway. Did I mention that I'm a messy painter? Because, yeah, sometimes it's just a little sloppy, and that's okay. One of the nice things about this is just relaxing as I paint. Painting and sculpting is such a calming act for me. Even though a lot of times the sculpting with the hands, especially as I get older, I can definitely feel that with arthritis type things. But the actual act of the sculpting is so nice and relaxing. As you can see, some of the textures that I put in here are really starting to come through as I do this dry brushing across here. Now, if you have too much paint on the brush, it's just going to seep into all those little details. So you want to not have it super duper wet with paint. It's not like we're trying to coat a wall and get it done in one coat. I'm just going to bring it around here and keep working our way around this weird alien creature. I also want to make sure I get up here. And then I think I'll probably put some purples and pinks into this, most likely. There are some lilies that are out in the garden right now that I should have taken some pictures of, because the colors of that are really beautiful and inspiring. But then also I'm a little limited to whatever I've got in my paint box, because it's been a little while since I bought new paints. I think it's time. I really want to get the new Turbo Dork paints and test those out. See how the second edition or second version lays down. So I like the super metallic paints, especially with all this sci-fi stuff I'm doing, the Vast Grimm stuff. It's really nice to have those kind of metals. And just keep going around here. So I'm not getting down into these little cups down in here, because I'm going to have those be a different color and allow the texture in there to stand out a little differently. And just going to swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Looks like I'm already going to need some more of that dungeon slime color into my paint palette. But it's crazy how far just a squirt of this paint will stretch. Really can go a long way. Fill that up again. And then I'm just going to see, it's so old, it's not even pouring out of the nose, the nozzle, whatever the right name is properly. I'm just going to get some more of that paint. I'm going to start down here, because I know there aren't as many details down in the bottom. And so if I have a lot of paint on my brush, it's not going to fill those in terribly. And again, just quickly laying some color over here. Can always come back in later with a finer brush. Like, I don't know if you see this brush. This brush is beat to hell. But I can always come back in later with a finer tip brush and do details around the eye sockets, all that good stuff. If there's anybody in the chat, say hello. Let me know you're out there watching. Either in the Facebook or the Backer Kit or the YouTubes, wherever in the world you're, whatever sort of platform you're watching this from. And gonna keep going around here. So I kind of wanted these plant-like tendrils to almost to make a mouth, and then even with the mouth on the top of the head and the teeth up there. So I kind of saw it like a crazy weird Venus flytrap at first. Like that's the monster side. And then once the humans discovered it, that's when they realized that they would try and find a way to blend that with people. And the reason for this is these plants themselves are carnivores, and they are immune to the Grimm parasite. So if these plants can be put down in different planets and things like that as a way to devour the Grimm, then what if we could make hybrids of people with this plant so that they could fend off the Grimm and also maybe gobble them up too? Better than Bob Ross. Maybe I can get a mutant squirrel. I bet this thing could eat a mutant squirrel. Make a mutant squirrel pie. Thank you, Russ. Hope your day is going well. Gonna keep painting this weird creature. And then, as you see, this started to tear off. So I'm gonna kind of do that as a little, gonna make that some battle damage or something like that once we get to that part a little bit later on in the painting scheme. But I figure, sometimes when things break and things don't go the way you want them to, you just have to adapt and figure out what's the best thing you can do with that to make it almost feel like it was intentional. Keep adding this painting here, keep painting this tendril up, and before you know it, we're going to be all the way around and be ready to start adding a second coat of the green. I think, at least for now, we'll mainly focus on the plant area, or this greenish color, and then see where I want to mix it up after that. I really need to figure out a better setup for being able to sculpt on stream as well. But y'all did not want to see me sculpting this thing out in my shed in the Georgia heat with sweat just dripping down. It was not a pretty sight. Although it was fun to do the sculpting, it was super hot out there. Give a little color down here. I want to leave some of the edge around the bottom where it's ripped to give some sort of fleshy, meaty goodness. I'll do the top part up here. So I need to come inside. All these leaves I'm not good with understanding real plant names or real plant biology. Biology is not even the right word for what I'm looking for. The anatomy. That's right, the anatomy of plants. So I'll just paint that a little bit. We'll come back in and do some touch-ups a little bit. And really, I think I've gotten a little bit sloppier even with my painting in the past year or two, only because my sculptures now are photographed, and then I beat them up in the computer as well to really grim them up for layout. So it's even less important how pretty and precise the painting job is. But I'm going to try and get back to doing a better job with that, at least on these things. Some of the things like the starships and where it's more kit bashed, I'm okay at being really rough and loose. But stuff here like aliens and creatures like that, I'll try and get a better job doing the painting stuff. Although it'll never be like airbrush quality or anything like that, because it's just I like the look of the hand done. Okay, so we've made it all the way around. So I'm going to start adding a little extra color, and you can start to see where the black is shining through less. We'll do some of this, and then we'll get some other colors in here and mix those in and start blending. Then it'll really start to take some form, some shape, all that good stuff. Come back up here. blend some of this down, and then maybe I'll even get some smaller brushes and come in for some of the details. As you can see, as it starts to layer, it starts to build, and the vibrancy of this green that is the pigment of the color is starting to show through, and this is what the paint's really supposed to look like. But having that primer, that black primer down on the magic sculpt is very important to allow the paint to really set up, so I'm not doing too many rounds of this color. Plus, it allows the black to seep into the cracks so that it's easier for me to do the shadows later. Hey, Michael, happy Thursday to you. Thanks so much on the campaign. I really appreciate it. How's your Thursday treating you? And I'm just gonna go in and do a little highlight on the eyes, the liner. I'll come back with a better brush because I can already see the bristles of this one. What's up, John? Thanks for joining. And thank you about saying it's looking good. I think this one's going to be a fun one. I'm excited to see where this creature goes. And then I'm going to come back around. I'm going to do down on the bottom again. And I think one thing that I forgot when I was first painting it, so I think I need to tip it a little this way. Hopefully I won't drop it. Make sure I've got a good grip on it, which I don't. I'm always nervous and sweaty-handed. And let's see. Need to get a little more paint in my palette, but I should get that underside so I don't completely miss out on it. The sun is out, and so that's good. Yes, totally, Michael. Let's see. It's very warm down here in Georgia, but I see the sunshine from through the window. Sneaking in. Thank you, John, for sneaking in and taking a gander. So I'm afraid to actually hold it by the teeth. Maybe if I hold it by multiple teeth. There we go. Doing it like this. Just got to get under here to give at least a base coat around the plant, the leafy foliage. And continuing on here, I need to have some music in the background. But I'm afraid that if I put music in, then YouTube will flag it and be like, nope, silence. Silence is golden. So I'll just keep talking gently. Okay. At least that's good to get that undercoat going on that side and let that dry up, and then we'll come back in with some on there. You love the lore behind these creatures? Thank you, John. This is that's going to be all part of, hopefully the PDFs will be done by this weekend to go out for the Patreon stuff. It was weird this month because of the backer kit campaign and everything else going on. It wasn't a very cohesive, like some months I sit down, I'm like, okay, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm going to do. And then I did the drawing of the plant of this before I decided that I wanted to do like a human hybrid version. And it just all started to come together after that. So even with like the location and the planet, the planetoid that they're on, and the corporation that first sent people down once they discovered these plants that were immune to the Grimm and would eat them, the Can-Do Corp, because of their can-do attitude. Just weird, goofy stuff. So that's all worked into the new lore for this one. Do a little more down here, lighten those up. Soon we're going to come in with another color because it's about time, because otherwise this will start getting too flat. We'll get around the other side and then start seeing what other color. I don't know if I want to bring a blue into this, if I want to bring some yellow. Yellow traditionally is challenging to paint. It's often hard for it to really show up and stand out. But maybe we'll try that first and see how it goes. And then maybe come in with some darker greens for the shadow area. Yeah, it's very campy. The Can Do Corp. Let's see, but I like throwing goofy, like strange, motivational posters and things like that into the background of the settings and things that like a cheesy corporation would definitely have on their docket. Okay, this is coming through. Such a cool world, fun to play in for sure. Thank you, Michael. Ready for samples of that project to come through. Trying to think of what else is in this month's release. So there's the plant version, then there's going to be this, but this actual creature thing is going to be like the bonus freebie thing. So if I make this into a playable species or just another creature, that's going to be the bonus one. What else did I do? Oh, I did an NPC that is one of the members of the Cyber Sharks. That's one of the things that's in this month's files. 1, 2. There's 2 more, and of course the location of this planetoid and where the people went down. And I think I know what it was. I think I did stuff based around the scientists that were the ones that first discovered these plant creatures. Do I need to add more of this green to my palette now, or should I wait? I don't know. Let's wait. I'll wait to do that. I've got a neon yellow here. I do not know how well it's going to apply. Oh, thanks, D7. I'm glad you like it. You see, Jack and Kenneth from 30 Rock as the Can Do Corp speaker. Yes, I can totally see that. And here with that, no, I can't do his voice. But what's up, Dale? I'm not good with real names matching real names with screen names. That is not very good. I'm not very good at those things. Okay, so now we've got a neon yellow from Reaper. It's an old paint that I don't know how long it's been in my kit. Let's see how this yellow starts to come out. Now, I think because like this is a nice clean area to start work. Is this for sale? Not yet, but it could be. I was planning on taking all my recent sculpts to Gen Con for sale, but if it's something that you're interested in, you can ping me after this and we can definitely discuss. I'll need to get it finished and do a lot of photographs to have them ready for my stuff, for any layouts that I may need them for. But usually, yes, almost all of my sculptures are for sale. I think someone that has a bunch of my older fantasy sculptures, when he saw the main sculpture from the Vast Grimm book, he reached out to me and got on that before I even had really considered selling it yet. But yeah, I'm really digging how the yellow is going down. Oh, you also paint? Excellent. Well, if you weren't here earlier, I paint. I don't pride myself on my paint. I like to paint. I like my color choices, but I'm sloppy, and I'm okay with there being paint strokes and brush strokes and all of that stuff. So I've never been one for a super clean, completely refined, like realistic looking paint job. I like that. It would look amazing in the Diablo Dice Lounge. That's some of John's hangout for where they game. And let's see. So I'm bringing some of these yellows in. I didn't expect that yellow to pop like it is, and I'm very much excited about that. I'm going to have to bring some more greens in and put some darker greens in to add some more contrast and blend it up now. But yeah, I'm digging that. Your miniatures are in the Diablo Dice Lounge, Dale. Excellent. I'll have to have John show me some photos of them, or you may already have, and I just may not be remembering very well because, well, brain old. There we go. Thank you, John. Thank you about the yellow. I'm digging that. Hello to whoever just joined on BackerKit. Thank you for starting the backer training up again. If you happen to be watching while I'm painting this strange creature. And another person on the train. Hooray! Let's keep this backer kit train going. All right, the yellows are coming in. I think I'm gonna now got to keep going the same way all the way around every time. That'll make sure I don't end up missing a spot because I do that sometimes. And then gonna paint a little bit on the tops here. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I need to get more of this yellow. I like it. You would like to paint one, like one of the sculptures, Dale? So if I oh, gotcha. Like if I made a mold, like years ago, I made molds of some of my fantasy creatures and did did taxidermy heads and stuff like that. If I ever did something like that, that would totally be an option. But I don't think I'd, unless you got one of my sculptures and then repainted it, which once it's yours, you can do whatever you want with. But I think I'm always probably going to be the one that paints one of these. Don't overdo it on the yellow. I know I'm going to bring more green back in because it's already feeling like I overdid it on the other side. But so to keep with the same flow and to make sure I don't mess it up, I'm trying to do about the same amount on this side as well. But I'm going to bring, I think, some deeper greens in, and that'll kind of balance it out and cover some of that yellow a bit. And also it should give a little more contrast to it, which I think is going to be nice as well. But the yellow is just going on so extra smooth. And I've never had yellow really go on well for me, so it's like, ooh, it's extra and fancy. But yeah, I definitely need to come back in and touch some of that up. Plus now, like the green, I can see the green fading in and being absorbed by the black base coat even more now. Like that, the dungeon slime and the alien goo colors, those greens are usually like some of my favorite greens to be able to work into stuff. But again, those paints are pretty damn old. I see how thin and light this yellow is, which is part of why it's going on so uh-oh. Oh, thank you for saying I'm doing a great job. I appreciate that. And the players go first. Well, I guess you're going to have to roll to hit then. And let me know what you're using, okay? Because I need to know if you're up close. I need to know if you're shooting from far away. Get a little on this one. A little in the mouth, down below. I definitely need some more of the green down there. A natural 20. Oh my gosh, but what were you using? And what were you doing? Oh, I totally missed the inside of that part. See, that's why you go around these things over and over again to make sure all the bits and pieces are gotten. So I'm definitely going to have to put some more green in my palette to fix that up. Before I do much more, I'll get a little yellow here and a little yellow here. A little yellow here. Okay. I don't even need to wash out my brush. Well, back to work. All right. Well, good luck with the work. Just going to get a little of this green to fill in the holes of where I was before. And then I'm going to get a slightly darker green and maybe mix in a little more dark green into that, or maybe some blue to really get it together. All right, wipe the paint off of my hands and then spin it around. So inside the mouth hole, I missed some stuff inside here. So I'm gonna get some green in here. Paint gently. Try not to get inside the actual mouth. I guess it probably would have been smart to paint inside the mouth first, so my sloppy mess wouldn't get everywhere, but sometimes I like to do things the hard way. Most of the time. Gotta paint behind here. Gotta get all up in here. Spin it around. Get all up in here. Okay. Because you never know who's going to look at this from all the weird angles. Like this. Please don't drop it, Brian. Please don't drop it, Brian. Please don't drop it, Brian. A little more over here. Got to move it all the way around to look at it every which way. I think I need to look at it this way. Yep, see? I'm missing stuff in here. Ooh, missed it in there. Ah, there we go. Seriously, got to go all the way around. And now I'm going to have to drop it. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, flip. Good grip, good grip, good grip. Stay on target. Okay. Oh, thanks. Great chatting with you. Hope the rest of your workday is filled with success. Yeah. All right. So now that we got that in, let's see what we can do about adding some richer green to this. I'm going to shake this up real good. Sorry if it shakes the camera at all. Do I have coffee in my coffee cup? I do. Hooray. All right. So now I'm going to put this. This is some game color, livery green. It's a very similar green to the previous one. So I may add some blues into this. Oh no, this is a bit more vibrant. This is what I was needing. We'll add this, then we may add some blues to that as well. I'm not even going to rinse the paint out of my brush. Hey, Charles, thanks for jumping in. Is there a particular plant that you're thinking of as inspiration for the colors? There's some lilies out in the garden, but then also I've already digitally painted the plant version of this. So I was kind of using that as the base and then just kind of riffing on what I wanted. So no, just kind of making it up as I go. Yes, I'm still going to be going probably for a while, Charles, because I think this thing needs some time on it. Okay, so here we are blending this green in, and this should kind of fade into this yellow a good bit more. These are going to be closer in tones, so I think this is probably going to work out well with that side of things. It's such a yeah. Hope your day is going well, Charles. For anybody watching, there's still 2 minutes left to get in on the current backer train to keep it going. And the screen in here, and then what I'll probably do is I'll water down like a really dark blue, or like there's a nightmare black that Reaper puts out that I hope I still have some of, and I'll water that down, and once this is all dry, I'll run that into the cracks so it fills up the cracks even more again. I think this green from Game Color is really the right blend into the yellow. Has much more of an alien vibe to it to me. Alien isn't just extraterrestrial as opposed to like Alien the movie or anything like that, because that definitely doesn't have that. More like the aliens from The Simpsons than anything. Just gonna keep adding a little bit more here. Now the thing is, now it's starting to starting to get flat again because all the paint's going into the cracks and crevices. Fade into a dark purple. So I was thinking about some purples for inside the top of the mouth, and perhaps inside the front mouth and down the kind of what is the neck, I guess it would be. So I do see some purples being into the color palette here, some purples and some dark pink maybe. Tilt this guy up a little bit. Do some of this in here, get some of this green in here. So Dale rolled a natural 20, didn't say what he was doing or what he was using. So I have no idea if he was up close to this thing, but I think if he was up close, he was avoiding the spores that they were spitting out into the air, trying to paralyze potential prey to make it all the easier to devour. All right. Okay, so this is starting to come together a-okay. Next up, just thinking ahead to the next colors. I don't know if I want to go ahead and start adding other colors into the plant part. Your day has been busy moving projects forward, planning and prep. You got 2 events to run next week. Oh, yeah, sounds like you've got a lot to do, Charles. Very busy indeed. Just going to keep adding a little more green around here. And then soon after this, I need more of that green in my palette. Blah, let it stare at you and think about eating your face. A little more green in the palette. Again, that was the game color livery green. It's funny, I've got my water bowl here, my Game Envy water bowl, and I have not used it once yet. But I guess once I start getting into colors that are really in the different palette, then I will start to dip into that and make my brush nice and pretty. Here we go. Bring some of this green up into the face holes. Face, face, face. Yes, face, face, face. All right. Yeah, I think maybe I will do some darker colors next after this green. Maybe ease in with a blue-green like I had mentioned a minute ago. Maybe we'll dip into some purples. I don't know. Not the spores. I know the spores are always the worst. But it's a good thing he made his toughness test. Bringing that up in there where there were where I hadn't hit that very well and the yellow's not really taken up there yet. I'm sure I'll come back in with some extra yellow to do a little more recovery after all the colors are in, just with a finer brush, one that's not just so splatter, 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 beating it with all of the color. Back up in there, a little in there. All right. I feel like this is really starting to come together. Once we start putting colors other places, it'll really start to feel alive. All right. Well, this is a fun way to spend a Thursday afternoon. I have no game tonight. I think it may be family game night tonight. No, I don't remember whose turn it is, though. I believe will be playing something fun, I'm sure. Put some green down in here. Blend this down. Need to remember to get the green inside the mouth hole as well. From this side, get it over here. Now this doesn't have to be everywhere. It has to have good coverage. Twist it. Try and where do the spores come off of the body or the plant or of the plant? I think they cough them up from inside the top mouth hole on the top of their head. Actually, and honestly, I think I wrote it so that this may not even be spores, since I did spores on something else recently. Let me double check the quick lore that I wrote. Stand by. Window. You can't. No. Let's see if it's this one. Nope. Oh. It is. Here we go. Scroll down. Let's see. They have a paralyzing nectar. Its teeth and interior are coated in a sweet, paralyzing nectar. Okay, there we go. And that's just the plant version, not the ones that are. Have the family helped you paint that? Have the family help? No, I don't need the family to help paint with this. It will. No, I need to photograph this. But I like the suggestion. We have plans to paint some miniatures at some point again, but it's been a while and we just haven't gotten around to that. Generally, like I would much rather paint much larger things than something so tiny. But everybody has their own ideas about colors, and I get kind of controlling about the things that I'm making for a specific project. Try not to, but when it's something that I know I want to photograph and put into layout and stuff, they've helped with other endeavors, though, for sure. Add this yellow in here. All right. Now it's time to put some darker greens or dark blues or dark blue greens. Let's see. I don't remember this blue heat from Secret Weapon. But let's see what it's like. Shaking it up, shaking up. So much to put on here. Okay, let's see. Well, it looks like I've used it a fair amount. Doesn't want to come out the top. There we go. Let's do a little, drop that here. Just see. Don't know how I feel about the viscosity of it yet, but okay. All right, I think this is going to be more of a washy type blue-green, which is actually probably pretty good for what we need. Let's do this and just kind of blend a little bit in. And it's very subtle, but I think it's going to look good. I think it's going to give it a good effect. And I'm just going to, all of a sudden, my mouth stops working as I'm thinking through how this is going, as opposed to just being on autopilot. You know, when you're just slapping color down, not really having to think too much or really do anything except just let the color hit. Now I'm in the mode where it's actually starting to sink in, and that I have to be slightly more focused. I mean, not super focused, slightly more focused. But I like how this color's working into it. If I was just putting this on, just like on its own, I don't think the I don't think it would be thick enough, but since it's kind of washing over the greens and the yellows, I think this is exactly what I needed. And I didn't even know it. Sometimes those heavy paint accidents are just everything you need. And when you paint as infrequently as I have lately, and you don't remember the colors that you got and how they actually work, because everybody's paint works a little bit differently with how it's going to lay on top of things. Sometimes you just have to take a chance and hope that paint color will romance you. And sure enough, this one is doing what I need. And I'm just going into some of the areas where they're receding a little bit, just to allow that to let the brighter colors stand out a little bit more and give a little more depth to the already dimensional sculpture side. I don't know if you can see how that color is starting to fade into things. Ooh, missed a little bit there, but that's okay. I think I'm going to bring this color in here to help that, fill that out. Get the paint off my brush. Get off of there, brush. Get a little more of that blue. Come in here underneath. And just kind of giving the fades there. All right, giving little shadows underneath the bottoms of the bumpy lumpies. The bumpy lumpies. And a little bit here. Bring this up from the bottom up. Kind of fade up into the yellow a little bit more. I think this one's going to be pretty once it's all done. You know, in a horrific sort of way. Anybody have anything exciting going on this upcoming weekend? Turning this one upside down and pulling it up. Okay, something is digging into my finger. I think it's one of the leaf type things on this plant. Set that thing down. Gonna bust my finger off. What the hell is it thinking? And then I need to think of what color the eye socket type thing, the eyes are going to be in this nasty beast. Continuing on with a little bit more. And I think I put a little too much there. I'm going to get my finger in there and just wipe a little bit of that away. Oh, there's a cat in my room talking to me. Yes, sweet tooth. I'm in the middle of painting. All right, I'm gonna bring that in. So now I need a little more of that blue. So this one I was just kind of letting the cap run its course. Like all that paint has all been from the tip of the cap from shaking it up. I'm gonna set that on my desk and try not to make too big of a mess on my desk. And then turn it this way, and let's see what happens. Possibly hiking this weekend? Oh, that sounds fun, Charles. Need to prep some Vast Grimm games? Awesome, that's great. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that your D&D group is disrupted, but I'm glad that you're going to be able to fill in with some VG. Okay, that was a little too much blue in there. I'm going to have to come back in with some of the green, I think, to fix that. So I can pull some of that off of there. Most of it's already pretty set. So let me get just a dab of the green. I don't have any idea what we're doing this weekend. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff on my agenda that I just don't realize that needs to be done. Just boring things, hanging out with the family. Those are the best things. I certainly enjoy it. cat hairs are no good for paint. Well, yeah, that's just, that comes with the territory here. There's just going to be cat hair in almost everything. There's no real way to avoid it. But I've got my desk in stand-up mode, so unless she decides that she wants to jump up on my shoulders, which she does fairly regularly, hopefully she will avoid this painting party right now. Blend it in, blend it in. So now that I'm getting stuff that's not in the cap, this paint's starting to feel a little bit thicker, but maybe it was just that first little pour. There we go. It's definitely having tonal shifts in the greens to yellows to blue-ish green. I just try to keep my own stuff out of it. There we go. Come on. Then after this, I need to remember to put some of this bluish color underneath, which I'll do. I'm going to see if there's any more green in my palette that's still wet. Does not appear to be. Let's just see. Nope. Okay. Bringing it around to the front. Bring a little bit of that in. But yeah, I think that's coming together okay. Actually, let me put a little green into my palette so I can touch up a little spot here and there as I go. Where were we? I was thinking about doing a little bit here. Thinking about doing a little bit here. Thinking about doing a little bit here. Bringing that in. And I'm going to come back in with a not such a beefy brush in just a little bit and hit up some highlights. And hopefully that'll look snazzy-matazzy. Do that there. Okay. Got a little bit of blue. Let's come into the recessed areas here and here. Bring that up. Blend it in up into here. Got a little up there. That's okay. We're going to bring it down into here. Oops. Then I think I need to start thinking about the colors that are going to be in this area inside the mouth. Maybe that's where the purples will come in. John, that you had mentioned, and also I kind of thought that was probably a good option based on the original illustration I had done. All right. I like the little leafy parts being brighter and standing out a good bit from the rest of it. Though I think I need to blend this in just a little so it's like it's working its way off of there. Okay. And then putting this up into here. So there was also at one point the thought of possibly putting these one-of-a-kind head sculpts into the backer kit campaign to help raise more money that way. I don't know if I should do that or not, because I've got like the Grimm head that I recently did. I have a couple others, well, mainly one other, that alien head that all of a sudden the name of the species I can't think of, because being on camera talking about stuff, it's a good way for me to easily forget things that I've created. I'm definitely going to put the meaty, fleshy color in that tear that's in the leaf part there, because I think that'll be fun to make it look like it's ripped, like it's battle damaged. If a Venus flytrap could talk, what would it say? Feed me. Have you not seen Little Shop of Horrors? Yes, if you look at the name of the plant species in this, it is Audrey backwards because of Little Shop of Horrors. How many different colors are you planning to use? I don't know. Usually I don't do a crazy amount. So like just kind of depends on where it takes me. Like most of the time with most of my painting, I tend to decide on the fly with where it's going. Yes, Seymour. Feed me, Seymour. So I mean, I don't want it to be too all over the place as far as the color palette goes, but I also wanted distinct colors between the inside of the top here, and then the base part and that. So that's kind of these colors in the very top and inside the mouth and down at the base are all going to tie together, and then they'll probably also tie into the eyes as well. And now the teeth here may be completely different. I don't know. Kind of depends on. I'll probably do the teeth last and see how everything else is looking and decide how I want it to be. All right. Got that. Okay. Give me just one sec. I'm going to make sure there's no fires that I need to put out before we move on to the purpley colors. The purpley colors. The purpley colors. Doom, 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 doom. Oh, okay. All right. And over here real quick. Okay. All is good with everything. So now on to the purpley colors. So now that I know that these are good, I'm going to cap these off and I'm going to keep them close by because I'm sure I will need them again. I'm going to put the specific colors that I want to probably use again, which are these, the blue, the main colors. I mean, I did put the dungeon slime down as the base, but I can put that up now because I probably won't use that again. I'm going to keep the livery green, the neon yellow, and the blue heat over here, just because I'm sure I will mess them up and need to use some of those again. I will move the other ones that I didn't use these greens, so they can go away. I'll put this one over here too. But now while that's happening, I didn't use these two blues. Now it's time to find some purples. So I need to look under here, like that one. Let's see what that one is. Okay, that's a Hotline by Turbo Dork. I think that's going to need some bass in your face. Let's see. Let's see what this one is. This one's going to be a redder color. This is going to, yep, but that may be fuchsia or purpley enough. And I may need to mix some. What's that? So that's how I figure out my colors. This is a purple sample. Who knows what that is? And then, let's see. Okay, I think that's a good starting point. Well, check another paint color bin, shall we? Are these creatures going to emit funk to attract prey creatures? I don't know. Perhaps. I like that idea. And it smells a little. Oh no, that's just me. Smells a little funky. It doesn't feel like it's got much anything in it. Let's leave that one. Do. What are you? Ruby red. I'll pull that out just in case. That may have a little bit of metallic to it. I won't recall. Okay. So, any questions aside from about the funk of the creatures? Oh, we are 97 backers away from unlocking the patch. That's the part one of the 6-part Gate of Infinite Stars patch combo, which is pretty rad. We're getting close on that one. Okay, so first things first, with all of these colors, let's shake them up because they've been sitting for a while. Hooray! There we go. I think those should be plenty shaken. So I know usually the previous line of turbo dorks lying down usually don't like to go down first as a base coat. Um, so I think I'm going to use this. Who knows what color sample purple uh, from Reaper from who knows how long ago. Let's see what happens when I put that down. Hopefully it's going to be a thick, solid purple, and hopefully I'll be able to lay that on easy. Then we'll be able to come back in with other colors and jam on it. But because I don't know how it's going to go on, I'm going to start down here. I'll start down here. Let's start towards the back, just because, you know, if it's going to be aimed the other way most of the time, I'll make it easier. Oh, look at that. Just quickly doing that dry brush on. This purple is going to be beautiful. Before I go further, look at me thinking ahead. Get some printer paper. Let's move my water palette over here, my water cup over here. There we go. That way, maybe I won't mess up my desk like I tend to do. And then this purple is going to go on so fast. It's going to look great with the green. I'm going to love it. Could it restore hit points at rest in the sun without food? Ooh, I like that. And could be so many cool abilities could be taken from botany. They really could. I like how you're thinking about this. And you know, I haven't, as a potential playable species, I haven't actually written anything for this. I've only written stuff for the monster side, so I'm digging those ideas, Charles. If the colors have been sitting for a while, you need to stir them. That's the best thing to do. Yeah, I could totally see that, but I also know how I am, and I'll probably just shake them and hope for the best. And I think the colors are coming on pretty well. It didn't look super separated in the bottle itself. Like I've had some that have sat so long that there was definitely color separation. Like there were things that didn't look like they belonged together anymore. I think with this, because I'm liking how the purple's going on with it, and because I want to try and make sure my brain remembers how I did the different things as I go around, I'll probably do down here, then I'll probably work into the mouth, then I'll probably work into up here and around there, and then we'll go in and add additional colors after that as we build up on top of the purple. And we may do a second wave of the purple, I don't know yet. Definitely need to see if I can find my Nightmare Black to do the low lights or the shadows and the upper part, the greener part. And going to keep going with that. We're almost out of purple in there. Gonna have to squirt a little more in. Well, I do like the sample purple color. Wish I knew. Oh, dropped a little on my desk. Get that up and use it, and then wipe it up after that. There we go. Just about clean. And we're going to keep going on here. Okay. I think like the black is totally soaking up the purple. I can see that now. Like we're going to have to come back and hit this again with another round, but that's okay. At least it's starting to get that purpley coloration. But I want it to be bright and shiny. Let's see. Okay. but then I want to keep going. I'll do another coat. Do one more just around this way, and then we'll move on to another part. Somebody tell me to stop. Okay. We'll go into the mouth now. Let's tilt this thing back and go in this way. Here we go. And I'm just trying to get a nice coating in here, just enough to, make it tie it into the bottom part for now. Make it so it's not just black. This time, try not to spill any on the desk. We'll see. All right, I did it that time. Proud of myself. Okay, gonna go up here, get up under there. Trying to make sure you brush real well with this paintbrush. There you go. You're a good plant creature. Okay. For now, I'm going to put a base of the purple in the open wound as well. And then come back in, I'm sure, with some other color in a bit on that. Now, right here in the top, there's the same texture that's down below. Or a similar texture. I wanted to make those textures feel like they fit in together and they tied in together, so that when not only the colors tied in together, but the textures did as well. I'm gonna come in, and this is just kind of going around where the teeth come out of. I'm sure this is going to soak up the purple as well, so we'll probably have to come back in and do another round of the purple in there. But that's okay. My stomach's making strange noises. Whatever could that be? Almost all the way around. Come around here. Then we'll go into the mouth hole once we get all the way around here. Into the top mouth hole. Not this mouth hole. So many mouth holes. I guess I never really can say mouth hole too many times. Or can I? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to tilt this way. I'm going to hang on by the chompers. Going to be coming in, going around. Then I'm going to make sure I get into all the nooks and try and get into all the nooks and crannies. I'm going to have to put more purple on my palette in just a minute. But I want to have this purple go down in, and then we'll probably lighten it up with some pinkish colors as it goes further down inside. Okay, we're almost out of purple there. Okay. Come back to this in just a second. You'd be sweet, strange little monster. Now I'm going to put some more purple. Whoa, got a little carried away with that pour. Like it's Friday night here. All right, here we go. Just gonna, now I've got so much purple. Let's go ahead and slather this in here. Let's get that covered inside the mouth. Then we'll go back around with any remaining purple and see what could use a second hit of purple before we go on to doing additional colors. Really starting to build out the tonal range of this texture on the critter. I also have not so if this is a plant-human hybrid, I haven't really thought of its lower extremities. Is it human down? Does it have human arms and things like that? I just don't know. Take some of that. I mean, it's looking pretty purple down in the stalks, but because I did hit most of that with a second coat. Let me do a little inside the mouth, this mouth, just along the edges, and kind of work it in. Work that in just a little bit. Blend, blend, blend. There we go. And now I need this top area to dry a little bit, although that's already, the color's looking pretty good up there. Looking pretty good down here. Let's go ahead and, I mean, I poured a lot of purple, so I don't really want to waste it. So let me just bring the purple out in the front a little bit more. Really try and make that shine and pop. That color's going to be good. Put that down. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Do I go ahead and put a base of purple on the eyes? Questions, questions, questions. Or do I touch up this stuff a little bit? It's still looking wet in most of this, so I'll just do a little bit right here where it looks like it needs it. A little bit right there. A little bit right. Oh, clean that up. Didn't mean for that to happen. That's okay. Okay, we've got some purple. It's time to, put a little purple on the eyes. I kind of thought that they were going to be purpley anyway, so let's just get a little bit going. Of course, these are going to need multiple coats because trying to get those bulbous shapes nice and looking good and not looking like the ping pong balls they once were. It's very important. Cover up some of that green mess that I made. Told you I'd be painting over those sloppy paint strokes. All right, almost there. We've got the other side to do. One of the nice things with the sculpting around the eyes like that, usually I can go right inside. Does it see an expanded light spectrum? Are the eyes going to be like compound eyes instead of single retina? Ooh, I don't know. Hey, hang on just 1 second. I've got a knock at my door. I'm going to mute this and I will be back in just a second. And while I'm at it, I'll fill up my coffee. Unmute and hide. All right, I'm back. No, where did the chat go? The chat has disappeared. There we go. I need to take a look at compound eyes because science has never been one of my fortes. Biology. Ooh, what am I doing touching the base? So I'll take a look at that and see if that's something that should be worked in. But I like that idea. I like the idea of seeing additional spectrums. But also dig how the purple is starting to, in the eyes, is starting to tie it all together. Oh, bug eyes are compound. Oh, that makes sense. Yep. I mean, it could be that having multiple eyes like this works in a similar fashion to having compound eyes because each one sees a different, maybe each one sees a different layer or depth. Um, so it's kind of fractured like that. Okay, so I ended up using all the purple, but I still have two eyes that need a coat. So let me get that on there. Dip, 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 dip. Dip, 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 dip. There we go. Just a little bit more. Need to look back at the other alien I recently did. Let's see, okay, now the colors are different enough from that one. Oh, it's more blue. Just go in, gently put some color on those eyes. I'm gonna have to definitely come in with a tinier brush in a little bit. All right. Anybody still watching on the Facebook side? Pull this around. Put this in. All right, now I just need to get underneath here, and then maybe I'll do another coat of purple on the other side of the eyes if they're dry before we move on. Whew. All right. This thing is starting to look pretty crazy. Blah. It's almost like the teeth on top. I know the camera's at a terrible angle for that. Let's see. I'll have to do, but the teeth at the top almost wear like a crown on top. It's crazy. Which is the king of the bugs. I mean, king of the plants. I think I'll probably come back in, see if I can get a metallic purple paint and come back in and bring that into the eyes. So yes, so the so StreamYard can send to both Facebook and YouTube. And YouTube or BackerKit pulls directly from the YouTube feed. So I've got Facebook open in a separate window so I can see that feed. And the feed that comes into StreamYard is just the YouTube feed. But like if someone were to comment on the BackerKit page, it should go directly through the YouTube chat. So I think like earlier streams when I was doing this, I probably wasn't seeing the Facebook feed, in case anybody was commenting then. So hopefully I didn't upset anybody by ignoring them completely. And then also like when I was streaming some of the gaming through Alchemy as well, it also on their platform there's a chat in there, and that would be separate too. You could use the teeth; they look strong to hang from objects as they ambush prey. Ooh, I like that too. Look at that, Charles. You are making all sorts of good lore about this alien species. Okay, that's where that one's going to be for now. I'm going to put a cap in that purple. And I'm going to put this over with the other colors for now. Thanks to whoever just recently joined on BackerKit. If you're watching the video, thank you. This is a strange plant-human hybrid that's part of the verse. Okay, so now let's see. Do I want to work in Hotline from TurboDork? Do I want to work in Ruby Red? No, I'll save the Ruby Red for now for the eyes. Or do I want to try this Worn Red, which is kind of a pinkish? Or do I use this? Let's try this one and see what happens. This is the Hotline from TurboDork. This is not their current series because they recently discontinued and came out with a whole new second edition of colors. So again, with testing on this thing, I'm going to spin this critter around and I'm going to test on what I consider to be the back side of it. And so this paint definitely feels a much thinner, not thinner, but it's definitely doesn't have that like I'm going to lay down and put a base coat on something and it's going to cover it up. I think this is certainly going to be more of a overlay on top to just give a little brightness and a little bit of metallic to it, because most of the TurboDork stuff has that metallic sheen to it. So I'm not going to use this everywhere. I'm going to bring in some and then bring some in from down here. Translucent. Yes, translucent. Thank you. Those are the words that fail me. Hey, Ted. Thanks about the sculpture, and thanks for being excited about the new campaign. I hope your day is going well. Ted's chiming in on the Facebook side. Okay. And then we're going to pull this in here, just bring a little bit up. I really like StreamYard. I really like how it works, how it can hit multiple platforms, how you can schedule things. I need to experiment with it more. Bringing this color down here a little bit more, bring it around this way. So I didn't put a whole lot of that paint in because I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to work, but I'm going to drop some more of that Hotline into my palette. Tilt that thing up and start dropping some more Hotline on these little tendrils. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the textures that I got worked into this sculpture. While I was working on it, it was so hot in my shed that I was just dripping gross sweat working on it. But I think this was 2 or 3 sessions of a sculpture that I did. And I did use one of the base, like styrofoam bases for a human head from like the hobby shop. Just to give a foundation on something to build on. Continuing around, bringing a little more of this Hotline pink up into here. Again, I think most of this is going to get sucked into the purple, so we may hit that again with another wave of it. But now let's go into the mouth hole and see what happens. I think also some of it may be harder to see in the video, so I'll try and get some good photos after this is all done. Maybe not today, probably tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow. Yeah, no, tomorrow. I definitely need to take photos tomorrow. So I need to get this thing into layout. I mean, it's the end of the month. I need to finish working up my Patreon stuff. And on top of that, like I've got like all but this piece, and I've got to finish writing out the room descriptions for the adventure part. All the Vast Grimm stuff is good, but I still need to work out a lot of the Morkborg versions, and I think I'm just going to have to come up with new stuff for a lot of that, because some of this is just too sci-fi, and I can't find a good way to convert it to make a variation that is Morkborg-y enough. So there we go. One of your legionnaires carries the head of the previous king of Kalar with him from the conundrum. Oh, can't wait. to use the new book to give some payoff for lugging it around. Oh, that's fantastic. Love that. And totally forgot that that was one of the things that was in Conundrum. Old brain. You see how that works. But that's great. I love that. I think that's going to be a really fun book for folks. Okay. Putting some of this in the top side. Guess I'll need to tilt this down so y'all can see this. So I'm putting in some of that hot line into the top. Gonna need some more hot line before I know it. Just like saying the color name now. Thanks, Greg of Turbo Dork, for making me say hotline so much. Okay, gonna add this in here. Got a little bit on the green area. All right, we're almost done with this color around here, but I'm gonna need more in my palette, so let's go ahead and give it a squirt. So how bad is the head stinking at this point? Is that anything where the players are having to check each day to see if the stank of the rotting head is bothering them, or most of the characters pretty terrible enough as it is that stinks like that don't faze them these days? Add these in, add some color in here. It's crazy the lag that I get from the YouTubes and all that stuff. You'd think it would be a little faster of a relay. Bring that in here. Oops, that was a little too much purple. The purple in here is still a little bit wet. Maybe I should wait on you. I should wait on that purple. Okay, I'll come up here where I know it's dry. It's dry. Oh, and soon we're gonna have to paint the teeth. Gonna have to figure out what I want to paint those. That'll be fun. Don't know if I want to give them I tend to usually always give teeth like a bone color, but maybe this time it should be something different. Maybe that's too familiar and too much like other things. But then I'm also not going to be able to grab onto the teeth when it's time to paint the teeth. I'm going to have to hope that other parts are a little further along in the drying process at that point. Considering the when we started this thing, I feel like it's come quite a ways since the beginning of the stream. All right, where's my coffee? Moist. Yes, it is very. Oh, it is. Is the head moist, or oh yeah? I consider it freeze dried and fairly preserved as opposed to moist and rotting. Gotcha. Everyone at the table had forgotten about it until you brought it out for intimidation purposes. Oh, that's fantastic. It's a great move on their part. It's like, oh yeah, well, I got the king's head right here. Love that. Love that. Right, get into the mouth. Now I want to try and figure out after reading the word moist in Charles' response, now I want to figure out making the inside of this mouth always glisten moist. Yeah, this thing's coming together okay. I'm really digging how the colors are working. I think the overall form of it, the profile's looking pretty good. Not the front profile, but like a 3/4 like that. Starting to see it. Definitely think it's coming together okay. Like a good DM. I leaned into it. So much fun. That sounds great. Okay. Should I put another color on top of the purples? Or should I leave the purples as they are? You know what? I'm going to try this worn red, and I'm going to try that on the inside of the top mouth, see how it looks. And if I like it, then I may carry it into other parts. Otherwise, I can just leave it right there. So here you go, coming at you. Definitely has a similar color to the Hotline, but it's just a little thicker and not quite as shiny. So that being said, I'll probably just leave it in the mouth like this, and then I probably won't bring it out to the rest of the sculpt. I'll do a little more in here though. Since we're putting it in here, might as well go ahead. It's going to make me think of like a sarlacc pit. And bring this in. All right. And maybe just a touch in here as well. Because, well, this is another mouth. Do it again. Just get it in and dry, brush it out. Get it all the way. Get that paint as far as it'll go. You're going to go over here. You're going to go here. You're going to go here. And you're going to go here. There you go. I'm going to put a little dry brush there. All right. So we've got that. Let's see. Should I put some shiny on the eyes? I think I should. And then I should do the teeth. And then I should come back in with some touch-ups and some highlights and some shadows, some liquid to go into the cracks and crevices. Okay. Dry that brush off. So we used Hotline, put that into the used pile. We used just a little bit of this worn red, so I'll go ahead and put that. Now let's see what happens with the ruby red. Let's see if it is sparkly or what. Okay. It is not sparkly. It is so not sparkly. It's just red. Okay. Well, I've put it on. We're going to put it all the way around. And we're going to come back with some purple in my palette. And we're going to see where it takes us. Oh, hey, the paper just picked up the purple and is spinning it around towards us. Okay, for some reason I thought that was one of the sparkly colors. And I do like sparkly paints, but that was not it. So, a little bit of the purple here. Let's see if I've got some sparkly over here. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. That is an amethyst that I'm thinking of. It's a purple amethyst. Well, there's a People Eater color that is by Turbo Dork, which maybe that one will have some sparkle to it. It's definitely lighter. So come back in with this darker purple and just kind of go around and blend that in. Then I'm going to do it again over here. I'm going to go around, and then I'm going to blend it in. I'm going to take some of that paint off the brush on my smock, my apron. And I'm going to get some purple. And I'm going to take it around, and this red start to dry. There we go. Take the okay. Come around here. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Going to take some purple, take it around. Got some extra purple. Going to take it around. Let's bring it all the way around. Blend it in. We're going to blend this one in. Oh, you're looking a lot more red than the other ones. Let's get that paint off there. Let's get a little more purple. Let's bring it around. There we go. Got one more down below. Take a little purple, tilt it this way, take it around. We're going to blend it all in. Get a little more purple, take it around. Okay, so now that's got a little bit of depth to it. Do I mess with it? Do I put that shiny purple and see what happens? I don't know. Let's see. Let's have a sip of coffee and think on that. All right, we're going to see what happens. Worst case, we paint over it. It's not a big deal. It's just color. So I got just a little dab of that purple on it. Look at Bob Ross over here. Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of that dab. So that's just going to, not even going to really notice it, but I think maybe once it's dry, we'll give it a little bit of shimmer and shine. There we go. Bring that around. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I like how those are feeling now. They're feeling a little, the blend's good for me. Bring some of that in here. Let's get a little more, a little in here. I'm going to wipe that off my brush. Just bring that in. Bring that on it. There we go. Bring that off my brush. Bring that in. There we go. All right, a little more. And there we have it. Okay. I'm digging those eyes. I think those are working great. I think that's what I needed. Okay, so now that that's happened, I'm going to rinse my brush off. I'm going to dry it off. Because now it's time to figure out colors for the teeth. I kind of like them darker, but I don't think that's the right way to go. Okay, I know we used purple, put that into our used color palette. I know we ended up using all of them, so let's put those over there. The only other color I currently have out is what's called maggot white. It's a kind of bluish white. And I do like this white, but what do I want for the teeth? Do I want them to be white? Do I want them to be a gray? Do I want to see what do I got? Do I want them to be an oily steel color so they have a bit of shine mixed with the white? I think that might be how I want what I want. Well, is it because it's the first thing I picked out of the bin? Could be. I don't know. Sometimes I just kind of want to, keep moving with it. Let me lift this up just to see underneath and see if anything strikes my fancy. What are you? I bet you're like a nasty, like a weathered stone. All right. I think a weathered stone it is. That way it's not shining from oiled steel. Let's see if sounds like there's some color in here. Just got to shake it up. Let's go ahead and shake them both up. Yeah, we got this. Shake them both up. Okay. Well, since we're going to be moving on to the teeth, I'm going to see if I can reposition this camera. While I'm doing that, I'll still be talking, but I'm going to turn off the video so that it's not a terrible vibrating nightmare for you. There will be some sort of like dual screen in the back because you're going to end up seeing me watching this stream, which is terrible. But that's okay. There, that's better. Now you can see the top as well. Okay, so let's see what happens when I put this weathered stone out. Let me actually look inside, see if I can stare into it and see if there's even enough to make it worth our while. Okay, let's see what happens. Hopefully this will be enough to coat the teeth. If not, we'll figure it out. And then also let me go ahead and put this white out as well. Oh, and hey, decided to hide the comments. Hello, comments. Are they bone, thorn, or something else entirely? I think they're bone because I like bone being in things. I always have. I like antlers and stuff like that. So I think they're a bone, some sort of bone material. As I get paint on my desk. Okay, let's see. So this is the weathered gray that we're laying down first. And you know, if I end up hating it, I can always paint right over it. I just have to bear in mind that this is that almost everything else is still sticky or a little wet, but luckily these paints will dry fast. Now these will be, you know, pretty big focal point of the creature because they're giant teeth coming off the top of it. So gonna have to make sure that these look fancy when they're all done. They fit well with the rest of the piece. So probably gonna have to do multiple coats on this. But even though the black is really soaking up a lot of the paint, it seems to be going on pretty well. I will let that initial coat on that Toothy Madness go dry for now, and we'll move on. I think it's hard to say yet if this is going to be the right color choice, but we'll see. I'll probably make it darker down at the base and fade up into the lighter tips of the tooth, of the teeth, not just one of them. It will have whatever I do for one should be done for all of them. And continuing on, keep putting that base down. Spin this thing around. Ooh, find the spots that I missed out on. There we go. And keep it going over here. And then keep going this way. So I'm planning to have a bunch of art at my Gen Con booth. A bunch of the art that I've done for Vast Grimm, some stuff that I've done for the Molt, all the original pieces. Make it part little mini gallery, part product. Hopefully that'll go over well. My booth is fairly close to the art show too, so I think that'll help a bit. Brian, you're not supposed to be working on a second coat on this side. Stop. Do a different tooth first. Okay, spin you. Gonna get this one. I think after the teeth are done, it's going to be time to try and see if I can find my nightmare black color to water down and run into the cracks of the greens and the blues, because it's kind of like a blue black. I really like that for going back over and letting it drip into the things that I've cut out when doing the sculpting into the negative space. So I know this was a total impromptu stream today. I think I want to try and figure out how to get back to some sort of regularly scheduled programming. just so I can kind of share what I'm doing a little bit more. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking with those of you that are hanging out in the chat. Getting the regular schedule has always been the hardest. I think one of the hardest challenges with that, especially since the creative stuff for me tends to be all over the place. And it's like, oh, I need to do this now, and now I need to do this, and it's never really seems to be super consistent as to what needs to be done when and how. I also really think I need to do some videos on lore and background, and got some really good ideas on that. I just need to put it into my calendar and start planning. But I think those would be more pre-recorded stuff versus live stuff. All right, almost done with that one. Spin you around so I can see. Okay, no, I'm not almost done with that one. It's got all sorts of space over here that needs to be filled in. Should not be hungry already. It's only 3:45. All right, coming in for, oh, there we are. It's like, where do I put my paint? Spin this. Woo! That was a close one. Okay. You are going to get a lid on you. Just for now. That's probably the smart play. Bring this paint down here. Soon it's going to be time for more of that gray. The weathered stone. Then keep on coming down. All right. I think I also need to take this video once it's done. We've seen you use a task board to plan your work. Do you have an action items list for each card to plan and schedule, or go straight to a calendar? So like I've used a bunch of different stuff. Process nerd alert. Yes, so I've used a bunch of different tools over the years, and it's weird because I'm all gung-ho for them at first, and then I find myself where I stop using them. Like I kind of start ignoring them, and then I need to move on to a new process and try that. So my current process, it's not the most ideal process, is I have a dry erase board that's behind my monitor right now because my desk moves up and down, that has a future, current, and ready, basically like ready to print. There are things in progress, are ready to print, and future. So I've got my main projects kind of outlined there, so I can kind of look at them and just have them in front of my face on a regular basis. Then I have recently switched. I had been using Monday to keep track of different projects and different tasks, and kind of organizing them that way. But I had paid for a year subscription, and I wasn't using it as much as I had planned. And like, there's a minimum of 3 seats or 3 users for it. And so if they had a single user option, I would continue to do that. But since it was like a minimum of 3, the price was just too much for what I was using it for. So now I've switched over. I'm just using basically Google Tasks with an extra program that's a desktop program that helps organize them. And it basically, I break projects down into tasks and then have subtasks within them, and then give those subtasks specific dates. And so it populates on my Google Calendar, and it's also in an app that opens up on my desktop, so it's easy to go in and put things in and check things off and move things around. And then I also that also gives me a daily to-do list and things like that because of how it's structured and scheduled. As I get more projects, like the more projects I have, um, the less something like that works. But currently, it's pretty manageable. Like I don't go in and specifically like drill down specific tasks. Like there's 2-page spreads left to do in the Outlook Grimm Outlook book. I don't go as far as to do that, just because I have a pretty good grasp on that just in my head. Oh yes, it totally. The visual management completely helps. Like I had so many subtasks when preparing to launch the campaign, with like the different Facebook groups I needed to post to, the emails that needed to go out, all that good stuff. Like that, without that, I would have. I'm sure I missed some things, but I'm sure I would have missed so much more. I've always been a huge fan of different project management tools, especially like coming from like the design agency side. Um, like there's so many that I've used over the years. I think there was one that I used for a long time that I loved, but it was a self-hosted one. So like I got to set that up on my own server and things like that. But then something happened with they stopped uh, creating the software, and that kind of went downhill from there. I tried using Trello for a number of years, and I found at first I was okay with it, and then something about it I just wasn't working for me. Um, and then I did like Monday quite a bit. I've tried ClickUp. ClickUp just had too much. Sometimes some of them have so much going on that I just couldn't find myself. I couldn't see through it to get to where I needed it to be. So the current just using tasks or is Google Tasks basically, um, is just enough for what I need. And I don't need things like I don't need a Gantt chart, or I don't need to have like long term timelines where it shows like uh, project uh, project flow and stuff like that. So for oh whoops, hang on, just dropped a little bit of gray down in there. For what I need, I think it's fine. And if it were more than really just me working on stuff, I would this sort of stuff I would need more. Do you have a favorite tool, Charles? All right, putting the second coat on is starting to feel good. Forgot I've also early on I used Basecamp. That was a long time ago though. I'm sure that's probably different now. All right. Here we go. Keep on working on these teeth. Definitely going to have to bring some dark color up from the base of the teeth once we're all done to kind of bring it all in together. Maybe even some of the reds that I was seeing earlier. I think that's probably a good idea. But I'll kind of tie it in. So instead of using the purples, use some of the deeper reds to pull up. Like that I'm just using a couple pieces of printer paper as a lazy Susan. we're using Microsoft Azure, but I've used Project, Trello, and others in a big group and enterprise level software. Oh yeah, totally. Um, yeah, definitely with big groups, you need that more robust stuff. But every now and again, I go through phases where I want to dive in and try something new, and that becomes the new thing in my brain that I need to use to keep me organized. And I'll go through digital to paper to traditional notebooks, and so I tend to be all over the place with that. But I do enjoy that side of things a bit. Now I'm coming back in with some of that white that I had mentioned earlier. I'm not gonna do too much. I just want to kind of bring it down off the top of it to really brighten the tip of it, and then we'll bring some darker colors up from down below. Keep blending that down in. The best ones give more value than the effort it takes to maintain them. Oh yeah, totally agree. But be like with this, with making stuff and sending stuff to printers and deadlines, project, and like crowdfunding and all that stuff, you really need to do good project management to stay on top of stuff, to make sure things hit deadlines and or as close as they possibly can, and to make sure that you're getting things done, because it's not always easy to stay self-motivated, so having things organized really goes a long way. All right. Okay, here we go. I'm happy with how those are looking so far. Need some darker color to come up from down below, and then it'll be time to start putting some shadows in things. I did get some white or some gray in the mouth. I'm gonna see if I can fix that now. I don't know if I can or not. A little bit of water. There's a couple of drops. Nope, doesn't look like I can, but I can put this in to fix it. The teeth are looking great. I do not want to put my hand in there. Good. It will get eaten. It will. And thank you. Okay, so now that I got that, I'm going to rinse out my brush. Going to dry it off. Going to have a swig of coffee. And then let's put away the white and the gray, because there's still a little bit of white in the palette. I don't think I'll need it. This way, it's away from me. Less chance of me messing something up. Put those into here. So I was originally asked how many colors I was going to use during this. So far, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 total colors. A few of those are very, very similar, so you probably wouldn't have needed all of those, but yeah. I'm going to come back in with, I think this is the ruby red. I hope so, because this is what I'm trying. I'm going to see what happens. Let's go to one of the teeth in the back, since, like I was doing before, why not work with stuff in the back first, and then see what happens. Okay. Red may be a little too much. Oh no. Or it may be just right. Okay, we're just dry brushing this up to try and pull the color up into there. I think that's going to look pretty good once it's all done. A little more, trying not to get too much paint on the brush as I come in here. I just wanted a darker color to sit down against the purple so that it wasn't straight white going in there. Oh, that white is that is. I'm just gonna dry brush that up, try and pull that color up until it just blends. Overall, I think that's going to work out just fine. So I need a little teeny dab. There we go. Okay, get a little bit on my brush. My brush has definitely seen better days. Gonna go along the bottom. Probably go along a good chunk of it. Maybe about half. Maybe a little more. And then we're gonna start pulling that color up. Come on, color. Pull, 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 blend. Pull, pull, pull. You want to work with this while it's nice and wet and moving. Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad you're digging those. Coming back around, and then a little more. Need the red in there. Need it to hit this part. Okay, I'm gonna put a little over here because I had too much paint on my brush, I'm sure. And let's bring that color up. Dry brush it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. Keep going. Keep going. Get all that paint out of that brush. Bring up the paint I brought over here. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's blending in together a-okay. Then I'll have to, I think definitely going to have to come in with a nicer brush and touch up some areas and do some highlights. And time to bring this color up. Bring it up. And as you can see, my paintbrush is just getting destroyed as I push down hard to move that color up. I probably don't need to push down as hard, but probably don't need to do the same thing when I play video games against my kids. My thumbs always end up hurting so much from mashing down on the button so hard, thinking that the sheer force of my thumbs going into the controller is going to yield any different results than my normal button pushing. Felt like this one needed a little more red in it, just on this side. Okay. Maybe it needs a little here too. Okay, there we go. Now for this last row, I'm going to start back here since we started back here from the other side. Go around, maybe do about half. Start blending it up. Blend it up. Go, go, go. Keep going. So sometimes when you start pushing down hard like this, it will start to take the paint that's underneath it that's not fully dry and start pulling that off. I don't really want to push down that hard that it does that, but I see that happen just a little bit. But at this point, I think I'm probably the only one that would really notice it because I know what it was supposed to be. So that's okay. All right. A couple more. I'm going to put a little more ruby red in there. And get these two done. And then I'm going to go on a search for the Nightmare Black in my bins. I think I probably really need to order more. Shoot, that may actually be up on my shelf. That may be easier to find. We shall see soon enough, though. Starting to blend this up. Blend, blend. This one may have had a little too much red. I don't know. Maybe not. This is one of the longer ones. It probably needs to blend up a little higher anyway. Let's see. Do just a little bit more. Whoa, that was way too much. What was I thinking? Let me get some of that paint out over here. I'm trying to make it look like clown makeup. I don't think so. Come on. That's okay. Gonna be just fine. Worst case, I need some other white over top of it. That's okay. This is just painting. It's not a big deal. Oh no, it's the end of the world. No, it's the end of the verse. Okay. I think I'll probably come back in. Maybe I'll come back in. I don't know. It's not bothering me as much now. Okay, here we go with the next one. Bring this up. Although, now that I'm seeing this color laid down, I'm starting to question if that was the exact same color as the other color that was already in the palette. Did I mix them up? Again, you want one. Yes. Of course you want one. You want it to eat your face. Let's see. There we go. Okay, I think that's pretty okay. I think I'm going to put a little more over here just because I can't tell if that's the exact color. I think it is. I'll bring this over here just to do a little bit more to have that front side kind of match up just a little bit. Ah, that doesn't look right. Why is there some up here? That's okay. Fix that. A little bit of water. And that took that off. Okay, so now comes some fun stuff. I mean, it's already been fun, right? It's already coming together pretty well. Turning it around, let's look at the kind of profile of this thing. Some terrifying stuff, I think. I'm going to take a bathroom break real quick. I'm going to see if I can find the Nightmare Black color, and then I will be back, and we'll be getting close to finishing this thing up. Won't take too long, so stay tuned in. Back in just a minute. So here I am trying to find if I've got Nightmare Black or not. So far, no luck, obviously. What are you? No, you're Black Primer. That's not what I want. Monarch Purple. No. Okay. I do not seem to have it, but that is okay. What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to water down some Ultramarine Shadow and try and really water it down and then see what happens. Hopefully, it will not be a disaster. But only time will tell. I'm going to use a different brush this time. I'm going to use a thinner brush that's got some, still got some body to it. This I'm going to drop it in here. Maybe I'll water that down a little too much. I don't know. Let's try again. Oh. Bring in some water. Let's just trying to go into the cracks and then wipe away the excess over top of the cracks, right? So it's a little more blue than I'd originally wanted, but I think it's going to work just fine with this color palette. So I'm really just trying to get it to go into the cracks and then wipe away. Just kind of make some of those shadows a little more shadowy. You know what? Maybe a little too blue. Yeah, the blue's fine. Except when I make a big mess. I just have to smear it off with my hands. Oh, where did the chat go? It has disappeared. There we go. And then let me just keep using this blue. I'm not going to mix something else into it. I was about to mix a walnut brown into it, but then I was like, no, I don't want to bring those kind of earthy tones into it. I want this to have this weird, bright, vibrant colors. And then I'll come back in and I'll do some highlights again. I'll bring some of the bright yellow and green back in just to punch it out. Wow, that is a lot of paint. Again, wipe away the excess. I'm not going to do this everywhere. I'm just going to do this in some of it just to kind of bring stuff out a little bit more. Some places where I feel like it could just use a little extra. That my hands are starting to get super tacky from that. Let's see. Pull some down into there. Pull some down in around the eyes. I think that's an important spot. Get some more water in here. Really make it more of a liquid, more of a wash. There we go. Now the nooks and crannies are really starting to pop out. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Let's do the whole wash. Let's do it. Let's make it really bring it out. The colors are really gonna start to vibrate now, I think. add some more water to that blue so it's super liquidy. So hopefully it'll run and just go into the cracks and then dry up. Gonna swing around this way. Every time I'm going, I'm getting another drop of water to put in here, and really makes this this ultramarine way more of a wash. As you can see, now it's starting to run down the sculpture, which is okay. It's okay for there to be some drips. I'll hopefully go back in and find them and clean them up. But now, like, this is definitely pulling out all the details in the sculpture. Starting to see all the little nooks that I cut into it while I was doing the sculpting. Oops, need more. Bring this in. And bring this in. Pretty happy with how the details are coming out now. Okay. Yeah, that thing's looking pretty good. Got some extra drippage right there. I'm going to let that dry up a little bit before I go in. I'll bring some of the green and yellow in to do a couple little highlights. Let all that drippage dry. And I guess I should do a little bit right in the face area. Down in here. Down in here. Pull up what's welled down into it. Oh, that was my shirt, not my schmuck. That's okay. I don't feel like I need to put this in the other parts. I think just in the greens and the yellowy area. I think the rest is okay. Okay. I think now I'm just gonna do some highlight details. Let's see. Wait for that stuff to dry. Put some highlights in. Overall, I think it's looking pretty good. Maybe I should put, let's see, I'll try it on the back real quick. See what happens when I do that color here. Let's water it down a little bit more. It may be about done. I may need to add some more to it. I think that's good. I think that ties it all together. That was the ultramarine shadow. Do that. We'll put a little of that in there. Oops, dripped a little bit on my table, on my desk. Let's see if I can pick some of that up and get some water in it. Come on, water. Okay, gotta bring some of that. Oh, still too much. Come on, more water. Clean that up, Brian. There we go. Can just bring some of these shadows into here. I think this is gonna also help kind of tie it all together just a bit more. Get this, get this. See what happens when I'm gonna put this. It's a lot here, but then I'm just gonna kind of wipe it away. And then that color's all tying it together. Even if the blue, all the ultramarine shadow color starts to pull down here, that's okay, because then it's just gonna go into the cracks and the crevices of the texture that I sculpted there, and that's okay. So I'm going to do a little bit more. I think this is all going to really start bringing it together. Let's see. I'm going to get some more water and just kind of water this down and see if I can have that go through, fill in those cracks, let it do it on its own. Get some more of this paint that's on my desk. See if I can pull a little more of that up. Put it up here, gently put it in. So this paint's still a little soft because it hasn't really had a lot of time to dry. I don't want to be wiping the paint off in the process while I'm using my finger to wipe away the excess. That's kind of counterintuitive to what I'm trying to do. I do think that's kind of all really bringing it all together. Too much. Need more water. Bringing that in, and then I'll just gently come in, bring a brush with some water, wash some of that away, pull some of this ultramarine shadow around, bring it into some of these cracks, bring some up here. The other side, and then I think I'll be ready to maybe bring some highlights back into the plant area. And I think from there, I think I'm probably going to call it. Bring some of these up into here and here. Keep spinning that thing around. Put some color down into the base so that it fills in a little bit. Got some over on this side that I want to do. And it's almost done over here. All right. Are these the types of streams that you would like me to continue doing in the future if I have things that I need to paint? Do you like having me on here doing it this way? Or do you rather me be quiet, listen to music, and jam out while I paint my weird stuff? I know it's a weird time of day for it as well, so I know that makes it a little more awkward, especially can be difficult with work times and stuff like that. All right, just used up the last of that paint that was in my palette. I think that's good. I'm going to get a little bit more of the livery green, and then I'm going to get a little bit more of the neon yellow. I'm just going to do some touch-up spots. I like the format and ability to contribute. Excellent. All right. 1 vote for continuing on this quest. Thank you, Charles. I'm going to grab onto it. I don't want to tilt it too much because I forget there's some very wet spots now at this point. I'm going to take this, just going to kind of see what happens when I blend into some of that blue that was in there. And get a little bit of the bright yellow and come around, neon yellow. Get some of those highlights around the eye. It'll kind of make the eye stand out a little bit more. Especially now that that shadow, ultramarine shadow has gone in and filled in some of the cracks and stuff. Just the way you're painting today, I love your realistic sound effects. Well, thank you. Sometimes I don't even think about doing it. I think that's just, I just do that. Keep putting a little highlight around the eyes. Yeah, I like having that bright yellow in there, coming back in and just doing it around there. It makes it The eyes themselves almost feel venomous, poisonous, something that makes me want to stay away. Put a little green back up in here where a little purple got splashed. Purple splash. A little purple splash here too. Okay. Purple splash. And a little purple splash. Okay, now I'm going to come back in with some more of that neon yellow around these eyes. Ooh, that was not supposed to be there. It's all right. It's me and my sloppy brushes. Just not watching where I'm going. And again with the neon yellow. Just in those little highlights. And then coming around, let's see, let's do a little bit over here. Soon, it will be time for us to part ways today. I really appreciate y'all coming in and watching and chatting with me while I do this. It makes it go so much easier than me just kind of standing around and talking about the painting and talking about what I'm doing. I know I'm doing a lot of that too, but I really appreciate the being able to chat with y'all and interact. It's one thing I really like about being able to chat with people at conventions and stuff like that is just the actual chatting time and learning what everybody's into, what sort of talking about games and all that good stuff. So thank you for that. If you weren't glad you weren't locked in meetings until the end of the day, yeah, me too. Thank you for that. And I don't know what sort of timing or formatting I'll be doing this in the future. It may be where it's random times again, where it's like, well, yeah, I've got to work on this, so let's do a video. Don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know what's next on my sculpting agenda either. But I do want to get some more sculpting done soon. All right. Okay. I'm going to put a little green in down around here. I'll probably have a couple more little green touch-ups where the blue came down. Ooh, that one's. I think that was from me just tilting the sculpture. Like I said, I probably shouldn't tilt this. There's still some pools of water at the top from where I really went heavy on the water when watering down the shadow color. The shadow color. All right. Well, see if I can bring this down now. That's kind of, whoa. That's where we are with that guy. I think he turned out pretty good. Yeah, I think you're right about not keeping a streaming schedule. I don't think I need to either. But when I can, I'll stream. I'll share with y'all. I think I'm done. I think I'm going to let this thing dry, and I'll take some photos of it. And now I need to do some writing to finish up this month's Patreon releases. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in, for joining. For those of you that are part of the No Safe Haven Backer Kit campaign right now, thank you very much. It's doing great, and I can't wait to see where it goes and see what other stretch goals we unlock. And if we get far enough, I will maybe work something in special with this guy. So, all right, y'all. I hope the rest of your day is filled with success, and I will see you all on the next time. Bye, y'all.